Good morning. When I was 11, I had a friend, and we were best friends. He was my blood brother in a way. We always would talk, would laugh, we would do everything together. We talked about when we would become adults, we would be there for each other. However, I lost him because of the evil and wicked actions of an adult. He didn't die, but I lost my friend nonetheless. Have you ever lost someone you love in your life? Have you ever lost a family member, a favorite pet, or a friend like me? Probably one of the most known parables is the parable of the prodigal son. It's a story about a father's love when his son returns home, but it also has a side story some don't know about. What about the older brother who didn't accept the younger son's return? It's like these Christians at my old church who, when some returned to the faith, they didn't accept them. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So let's read Luke chapter 15, verses 11 to 32. Then he said, "A certain man had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me a portion of goods that falls to me.' So he divided them his livelihood. And on many days after, the younger son gathered all together, journeyed to a far country, and there wasted his possessions with prodigal living. But when he had spent all, there arose a severe famine in the land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his field to feed swine. And he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, 'How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will rise, go to my father, and will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' And he arose and came to his father. And when he was still a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Bring out the best robe, put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. And bring the fatted calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this is my son, who was dead and is alive again, and he was lost and is found.' And they began to be merry." Now this is what I want y'all to really pay attention to. Now his older son was in his field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of his servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, "Your brother has come, and because he has received him safe and sound, your father has killed the fat calf." But he was angry and would not go in. Therefore his father came and pleaded with him. So he answered and said to his father, "Lo, these many years I have been serving you. I have never transgressed your commandments at any time, and yet you never gave me a young colt that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this son of yours came, who was devoured your livelihood with harlots, you killed the fat calf for him." And he said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. It was right that we should make merry and be glad, for your brother was dead and is alive again, was lost and is found." Like many of Jesus' parables, this parable has a spiritual connection. So what do each character represent? The prodigal son represents a Christian who is lost but comes back to the faith. The father represents God, and the older son represents a faithful Christian. So if we go back to the actual story, we should notice that the older brother's reaction. Have you ever known a Christian that sounded like the older brother? Have you ever known a Christian that wouldn't accept a lost Christian who returned to the faith? If the father represents God, then shouldn't we be glad when a Christian returns because God is glad? So what is the conclusion of the matter? Some of us may be like the older brother and may not accept Christians that return. So I would like to give a simple challenge. When someone returns to the faith, greet them dearly and celebrate, because God and the angels celebrate when someone returns. However, we shouldn't just celebrate. We should make sure they don't leave again. Celebrate, but strengthen them as well. Like the prodigal son, returning Christians are going to feel weak. If we can strengthen them, they won't be as likely to leave. Thank you.